Desmond Miles, a bartender, is kidnapped by the company Abstergo Industries for use as a test subject in the Animus, a device that can simulate genetic memory. Abstergo intends to put Desmond in the device to recall the memories of his ancestor, Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad, a member of the Assassin Brotherhood in the year 1191, who lived during the Third Crusade in the Holy Land. Raised to be an assassin from birth, Altaïr became a master assassin at age 25, an accomplishment unheard of for one so young. We see Desmond entering Altaïr's memory, but he soon faces synchronization problems. On this, Lucy Stillman and Warren Vidic's voices can be heard. These are two people who work for Abstergo Industries and are seen as basically the villains. However, we learn that Lucy's loyalty to Abstergo is questionable. Lucy adds that Desmond has to relive key moments of Altaïr's life to increase his synchronization, before reaching the final memory, which holds the information that Abstergo is seeking. This is the whole point in the Animus. This is why they put Desmond in there, to find some information hidden within his ancestors' memories hundreds of years ago. After Desmond is done with the tutorial, he enters the closest synchronizable memory of Altaïr. Altaïr is first shown attempting to retrieve one of a series of artifacts known as the Pieces of Eden from Solomon's Temple with the help of Malik al-Saif, his brother Kadar, and they are stopped by Robert de Sablé, Grand Master of the Knights Templar and sworn enemy of the Assassins. While retrieving the treasure, Altaïr breaks all three tenets of the Assassin's Creed in an attempt to kill Robert, but he ultimately fails. In the following commotion, Malik's brother is killed, and Malik's left arm is crippled and later amputated. When Altaïr returns to the Assassin's stronghold at Masyaf with apologies, Malik, who survived de Sablé, comes back with the artifact and disparages Altaïr because of his arrogance. After narrowly defeating a retaliatory attack by the Templars, Mualim, leader of the Assassins, demotes Altaïr to a novice, but gives him another chance to rise through the ranks of the Brotherhood. Mualim assigns Altaïr the task of assassinating 9 key figures across the Holy Land in Jerusalem, Acre, and Damascus, aiming to bring peace between the Crusader and Saracen forces. Each target is based on an actual historical figure from the real-life Third Crusade. Tamir, an arms merchant in Damascus selling weapons to both the Crusaders and the Saracens. Garnier de Nablu, the leader of the Knights Hospitalier, who conducts mind-altering experiments on patients at his hospital in Acre. Talal, the leader of a gang of slavers in Jerusalem. Abul Nuqad, a pompous trader and regent of Damascus, stealing money intended to fund the war. William V, Marquess of Montferrat, Acre's cruel and abusive regent. Mahed ad-Din, a tyrant who rules Jerusalem through fear by holding public executions. Master Sibrand, the paranoid leader of the Knights Teutonic, who plans to betray the Crusaders by blocking the ports of Acre. Jabaya al-Hakim, a scholar using his position to seize and destroy all written knowledge in Damascus. And Robert de Sablé, the Grand Master of the Templars, who has been taking advantage of the Crusade to further his order's ideological goals. Altaïr completes each task, learning how each target is connected to Robert and the Templars, and how together they aim to end the Crusades and place the Holy Land under their own control. During Altaïr's assassination attempts on Robert, Altaïr is tricked with a decoy, a Templar named Maria Thorpe. Maria reveals that Robert had anticipated the assassins would come after him and went to negotiate an alliance between the Crusaders and Saracens against them. Sparing Maria's life, Altaïr confronts Robert in the camp of King Richard I and exposes his crimes. Unsure of who to believe, Richard suggests a duel to determine the truth, remarking that God will decide the victor. After Altaïr mortally wounds him, Robert identifies Mualim as the final conspirator, revealing that he had betrayed the assassins all along. Altaïr discovers that Mualim was himself a member of the Templars and used the assassins to kill the other members who held the secret to the treasure's power so that he could selfishly keep the artifact for himself. Altaïr quickly returns to Masyaf and approaches his master, who reveals the truth to him. The Piece of Eden, which he had recovered through the help of Altaïr directly before his transgression, creates illusions. He denounces religion and other seemingly supernatural events, for example the 10 plagues of Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, and the presence of the Greek gods in the Trojan War, as illusions caused by the piece, and then states his intention to use the artifact to compel mankind into a brainwashed state, and in doing so, bringing an end to all conflict. Altaïr is eventually able to see through the deceptions created by the artifact to kill Al-Mualim. When Altaïr recovers the artifact, the Piece of Eden activates, showing a holographic view of the world with numerous locations of other pieces of Eden marked across the globe. This view, this globe, is exactly what Vidic and Abstergo were trying to find by putting Desmond into the Animus. When the process is complete, Desmond learns that Abstergo is a modern-day front of the Templars, and they are already seeking other artifacts at locations identified in Altaïr's memories. Further, he learns that the modern-day assassins had tried to rescue him before the memory had completed but had failed. Following this, Desmond was to be killed after an order from a high-ranking Templar, Alan Rickon, but Lucy Stillman saves him from death and, at one point, tucks her ring finger into her palm, referring to the assassin's tradition of cutting off the finger. Though Desmond remains trapped in the Abstergo laboratory, his experience in the Animus has created a bleeding effect of Altaïr's life in his own, allowing Desmond to use Altaïr's eagle vision, which, in turn, allows him to see strange messages painted on the walls of his room and the floor of the lab. The messages all deal with various forms of the end of the world from different cultures, including several references to 21st of December 2012, the date that Abstergo plans to launch a satellite that will permanently end the war. It is hinted that this method would be by the same method that Al-Mualim hypnotized Masyaf, only on a larger scale. Finally, the game ends with Desmond wondering what the images all mean and who could have drawn them. Thank you for watching that, everybody. If you liked this video and you want to know more Assassin's Creed lore and backstory and recaps and everything, then subscribe to Jam Punch, because I'm going to be releasing a brand new Assassin's Creed video every single week. My name is George, this is Jam Punch, and I will see you next time.